are you?
Oh, I'm doing excellent. And how are you? I can't believe that this is your last video.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I can't believe either. Time flies. It has been quite a journey, though. And I can't.
Yeah, I mean, you started off in a different school, and yeah, you changed schools right in the middle of it.
It was like a crazy adventure. Like even when I started the program, Corona started, and since then everything was just so crazy. So yeah, I can't believe
Yeah.
like at the very end of this program, like flexibility was a blessing. We were going through many things. Like we didn't travel this year. It's been a year. I didn't see my parents. Everything is just so crazy.
Yes, and you really learned how to be resourceful. I mean, I don't think you'll ever have, the bad side, the downside is that you've had such a tough year, your first year, but on the positive side, I don't think you'll ever have a tougher year than this one. So you already,
Yes, I'm
you
ready
paid
for
your due.
everything.
So
Exactly. And I
anyway, but you
believe,
did it. You did it.
yes,
Congratulations.
thank you. I believe online learning is gonna be like even
Yeah,
part of the future learning because it's not gonna end just like that. So
I agree.
I am really thankful for Teach Now. The amount of things that you learn throughout this program is uncountable. Even I am thankful more because I wasn't actually teaching, so like my full focus was on the program, on doing the assignments, on learning as much as I can, even though it was time consuming without like actually learning, teaching.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I don't know how I would be able to do it. Like when I started the program, I thought it's okay, I will still be able to manage my time. And I was planning to travel with the family, and like back there, thank God I did not do that. Like I was just focusing on
Yeah.
the program, and here I am at the very end. I cannot
Yeah.
explain and describe how much I learned throughout this program. Like I'm a new person. I had the skills, I love
Yeah,
teaching,
it is.
but everything that I learned is just like this is what I needed. So I know now that I have to learn more. I like where are my areas of weaknesses, what are my strengths. So yep.
Yes, I always appreciate how you really build a strong sense of community for your students. And excuse me, like, I thought it was so cool that you're playing that game that they like to play so that it gives you some insight into them and some future ideas for maybe gamification. And, a couple of times during the class, well, actually, I thought with that one thing, I thought, it gives you insights, but it also helps them to see themselves as, as teachers and experts in something, and you were role modeling lifelong learning. So, a lot of kids think that their teachers know everything, and so then if they believe you know everything, then you can't role model learning for them. So I thought that was really, really good. And then also asking them what makes them happy and who their favorite protagonists were. That also helps you to, that also helps, sorry, somebody said my door. That also helps you to get to know them and personalize and, for them as well. But it also lets them hear each other. And that's really hard to do online, and you do it very well, and I think you're going to do it that much better in person. I can imagine what a positive community sense of classroom culture you'll have when
Yes,
you get
I also
back
think
in
of
person.
ideas. Like now, I feel that all the students are connected to me, but now I'm thinking of ideas and how to make them connect to each other. Like
Yeah.
they have to be friends. Some of them know each other, some they don't. So like they do. I have the chat setting only they can send me things, but sometimes they don't know, so they think they're sending, like they send each other some cute messages. I do share that. Like we had even a birthday party. I made all the students turn off their cameras. I did not admit that girl. She was telling us about her birthday. She was so excited. So I made all the students turn off their cameras, and then I told them, like, when she's in, when I say go, you turn on your cameras and you say happy birthday. It was
Nice,
so
nice.
cute. She loved it. She was like so embarrassed. She didn't know what to do. She turned off her camera. But
Oh, she must have been so pleased.
yes, it was like really great. I was happy. So yeah, I do appreciate that. I always try to help my students feel connected to the classroom.
Yeah, and when they're not in the physical classroom and they're not going to recess and playing together,
Yes,
it's much harder. And you know, I at the end of the video, I also really liked how you had them asking each other questions and had
yes,
them interviewing one another. So that, you know, that really definitely helped to improve the interaction between them. Um, Also, you know, having them describe the characters, you know, that was a good, you know, instead of just having them say who their favorite character is, to describe the character and explain why. You know, I thought that was also effective. One suggestion that I have for improvement is to start. I know you teach them phonics, but phonemes are like the little word
yeah,
parts, like suffixes and prefixes.
yeah,
And so when you were teaching them about protagonists and antagonists today, well, not today, but I watched it today
yeah,
in the lesson, I thought you could really take a good opportunity, you know, that would be a good opportunity to teach them about the prefixes pro and anti, and, you know, teach them that, you know, pro is something that's positive and moving forward, and anti is the opposite, something that's coming, you know, against. And so the protagonist is the person who's moving the story forward in a positive way, and the antagonist is against the protagonist, so it's anti the
yeah,
protagonist. And so if they learn, you know, if they learn things like that, then it helps them later on when they're trying to decode words and figure out, you know, so they'll use context clues as well as those little phonemic clues when they're building, you know, because you want them to be as independent as possible eventually with their English acquisition. And you know, so that will give them a little bit more self-sufficiency. So that was one idea that I had for next time. You know, so teach those words, like, you know, or even when you're doing it with a new group of kids, if they already know what pro and anti mean, if you teach them what the protagonist is, then have them guess and figure out, well, what do you think the antagonist is? If, you know,
yeah.
so
I love this idea. It's
yeah.
gonna make them even think in their real lives. You know, they're gonna
Yeah.
start thinking like with everything. So pro and they can relate it. So yeah, I,
Yeah. Pro and anti, yes. And there, so I gave some suggestions of words you could use for that. I thought it was really good that you showed them protagonists and antagonists that they already know, you know, famous ones. And so that helps them fully understand what it means. And you know, sometimes they think that the protagonist is just the good guy, which protagonists are good, but
yeah,
they're the ones that the story is about. You know, they're the ones that move the story forward. So I thought that by giving those examples, you help them construct the meaning. So I thought that was quite effective. Let me just look at my notes, see what else I'm. Um, okay, yeah, right. The elements of a story. Yeah, yeah, and. Yeah, I mentioned that my favorite part of the lesson was they interviewed each other, and so they're collaborating there. Um, yes, the elements of a story, you know, having them review that and, you know, activate their prior knowledge. Yeah, that was effective. And yeah, I thought it was a very effective lesson. So that was my only area for improvement. Like I said, I think when you're doing it in person, that and I can't wait for that day. Yeah, the
things are gonna be so different when we're back in person, of course.
oh my goodness, so exciting.
But I think thank you so
Yeah.
much, Kelly. It has been such a pleasure, and good luck with your training.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I tell you, it has been a pleasure for me too, Tagreed. You are such a positive, enthusiastic, capable, and encouraging teacher. And,
So
I know that the children who are in your classes, they're just going to, and they're going to enjoy learning, and they're going to have a positive, active, a very active and vibrant learning experience. And, that's so important.
thank
So,
you. I
but
appreciate
it has certainly been a pleasure working with you and getting to know you.
me too, and I hope we'll stay in touch, and I hope I will attend your
Absolutely.
trainings. Like I learned a lot from you. Thank you so much for every suggestion, for every word, for every help. I do appreciate every single thing, and
Oh,
I'm
it's
so
been my
glad that
pleasure.